All right, we are live. I know it's been a while. It's actually been a few weeks, I think, at this point. And this is an impromptu live. If you're wondering why I didn't get an invitation, how is Lewis going live right now? That's because this is impromptu. Okay, we just to announce a very important event. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m., right, about 24 hours from now, we're having a diabetes reversal masterclass. Okay, who is this class for? This class is obviously for those who have diabetes, but also for anyone who has friends, family, anyone you care about that has diabetes, because chances are they have not received the proper information if their goal is reversal. Right. So there's a lot of subcategories of people who need this master class. If you're a person who has diabetes and your medications are not working in the sense that you still have blood sugar spikes. Your blood sugar is still elevated, even though you're taking the medications consistently. This masterclass is for you, right? We're gonna help you understand um, the root cause of diabetes and why medications aren't working. If you aren't taking medications because you just don't like to take medications and your blood sugars are high, this masterclass is for you because we want to show you why you can reverse the root cause of diabetes and not just manage your symptoms. That's what medications do. See, the unfortunate thing is that we as physicians, we are masters of managing symptoms. This is what we are taught in medical school and PA school. We're taught to manage symptoms. It's very effective, right? To go from A to B. You have this symptom, you take that medicine, and the symptom is gone. But not only is this negligent, but it's dangerous. There's conditions that if you just manage it with symptoms, you could be making the actual underlying disease worse with time. All right. So tomorrow, 7 p.m., and make sure you scan the code here if you want to learn the science behind diabetes, what causes diabetes, and then how to reverse it. Right. And in a moment, I'm going to show you some testimonials from people who have gone through diabetes 180, because a lot of times people are thinking, man, I've heard this a million times before. I see people say, diabetes is reversible, but it's not happening for me. I want to show you some testimonials from people who and I'll do that in a moment. Okay. So we'll talk about testimonials, but I want you to understand the significance of getting away from a symptom management approach, right? That we have in medicine. It's unfortunate that we focus on just managing symptoms because it's similar to cutting off the branches off a tree, right? And wondering why the fruit is still growing. You got to take the whole root out, right? And not only that, if you just clip the branches off the tree, and the roots will continue to grow. Sometimes the disease gets worse, right? It's like you're pruning the disease. Okay. Think of somebody who has maybe upset stomach and nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, right? They're figuring out maybe it's acid reflux. I don't know. Maybe I ate something funny. And your doctor just gives you anti-diarrhea medications and some pain relieving medication, something for your nausea, but all the while you're suffering from pancreatitis, right? Often fatal condition, right? This is the problem with managing symptoms. You could be making the disease worse. And unfortunately, this is what we're doing with diabetes today, guys. We're managing the symptoms. We're cutting off the branches, trying to control the blood sugar levels. Meanwhile, the root of the disease continues to grow, right? And why so many people who have diabetes year after year go to the doctor and their doctor tells them the kidney function is declining, but I'm taking the medications, doc. Why is that happening? The liver enzymes are elevating, right? My cholesterol is getting worse, even though I take the cholesterol medicine. My blood pressure is getting increasing. I take 3 pills at this time because we're managing symptoms. We're clipping the branches, allowing the roots of the disease to grow deeper. This profits nobody but the pharmacy. Okay. Um, so please don't miss this live event tomorrow. If you have not already registered, this is your last night to register. Scan the QR code. I also put it in the link. I see people who are watching. Thanks so much for watching. I know this is an impromptu live. We're going to go back to our regular lives every Monday at 7 p.m. So make sure you like and subscribe on this channel. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, like, subscribe so you can not miss the next events. every Monday. But this masterclass we're having is not going to happen often. So I don't want you to miss out on this 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Okay. So hello, Gunner and D Devil and Phillips. Thank you so much for watching. All right. And so, yeah, I want to share at this time some testimonials because I think it's good to see that, hey, well, that can happen for me. So let's just pause for a moment and share some testimonials. But I have put the link to our masterclass in the chat room, so make sure you watch that. Okay, but this is one of my favorite testimonials is Diane was told by a doctor that she was on her way to dialysis. Okay, they told her doctor said that basically your kidneys are at such a low function. I can't remember what her numbers were, but they were at the point where we're just going to monitor it for the next 3 months, but we don't expect it to get better. She worked with Diabetes 180, and not only did she reverse her diabetes, but her kidney function went up. All right, the kidney doctor almost fell off his chair trying to figure out what happens, right? Because she went from symptom management to disease reversal. There's a huge difference, right? Okay. Another testimonial is Mark Brown. Mark was a lot, he's a lot like a lot of us. He was eating a pretty healthy diet. His diet was not that bad compared to others, but he still was diagnosed with diabetes, right? Skated the line of pre-diabetes for a long time until eventually his doctor told him he had diabetes. And of course, we got real with each other and said, well, do you think you are eating the healthiest diet, right? Are there improvements you can make? And here's the thing, a lot for just like Mark Brown, there's a lot for a lot of us, it's not knowing. Knowing is not the problem. We know what to do, but doing it, right? And there's many of his favorite foods, some of his snacks preferences had to stop. He thought to himself he could never do it, right? He was very skeptical and hesitant. But once you work with a coach, it's a game changer. That's why I encourage not, just coming to our live events and coming to our masterclass, but sometimes you need a coach. And that's what Mark Brown needed. Within 3 months, he was off his medication. And what's more important is his mindset changed, and not just his diabetes being reversed, but his mindset reversed, right? Now he eats not just for taste, but for health, right? Something he didn't think he was able to do, right? Being skeptical at first. That's why I encourage people to get a coach if you need it, right? And it's not everybody needs one, but sometimes it's helpful, right? Another one of my favorite clients was Dennis, who was able to drop his A1C from 11.4 to 5.7 in 3 months, and is no longer living with medications or diabetes, right? Rosalie, who suffered from one of the most debilitating symptoms of diabetes is fatigue and just low energy, right? And the reason, this is interesting why this happens, when you have high blood sugars, right? What is sugar supposed to provide? Energy, right? It's supposed to provide energy. So if your sugars are chilling in your blood, they're not providing energy to your cells, to your muscles, right? To your brain, right? So you get brain fog, you get low energy. It's like you eat, but it's like you didn't eat, right? This went on for years. Rosalie had diabetes for 25 years, poorly controlled. And it just took 3 months of Diabetes 180 program and coaching to turn things around for her. Now her sugars are normal. She's able to, she says she got back her life, right? So things changed for her, not just physically, but socially. And she was able to travel the world and fulfill some of her life dreams, right? So these are just a few. This is, I think, maybe a couple others. Lieutenant Garris, right? He had diabetes and liver disease. Was able to reverse it in 3 months, both. Right now, he's living without medications. Liver enzymes are normal. Right, no more fatty liver. You reverse more than diabetes when you uproot the roots of the disease. What's interesting is that not only are you uprooting the root of a disease when you take on the dietary approach that we teach, you're uprooting the root of diseases. Okay, think of chronic illness like going back to the tree analogy, right? It's got a lot of branches, it's got a lot of roots, right? So when you take the whole tree out, right, whatever's causing the chronic illness, very often many other illnesses are also uprooted, Okay, I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's what happens to a lot of people. Not just diabetes reverse, but the kidneys disease, liver enzymes. Actually, that was my last testimonial. But we have many others. If you want, check out our YouTube channel, and you'll find them. But yeah, that's what I want to encourage everyone to come to this masterclass to do, to learn, right? To learn, even if you don't have diabetes. I like to end with this. So, we have the Superman movie coming out, right? There's a lot of reviews on this Superman movie. So the other night I decided I was gonna, get some nostalgia and look at the original Superman movie on TV, and the OG Christopher Reeves, doing this thing. And there was a scene on there, that really caused me to pause and think about, almost a tearjerker for me, where Superman's father, or his adopted father, dies of a heart attack, and Superman's like holding him, right, and I think was holding his adopted mother, and saying, I have all these powers, right, and yet I couldn't save Dad from a heart attack. I couldn't save Pop from a heart attack. And it made me think, a lot of us as physicians, we feel burnt out like that. We feel like, I went into medicine to save people's lives. I went into medicine to help people heal. But even though I'm giving them all these medicines and all this knowledge I learned, from all the money I spent to my medical degree, people are still dying, right? People still suffering. Limbs are still amputated. People going blind, right? Even though I have all this power, right? And I realized, oh, wait, that's how I used to feel, right? Before I got this knowledge. It doesn't make me special, but I do feel a little bit like Superman, because now, or even better, because now I know that with this knowledge, I have the power to save people's lives. It'll be criminal for me not to share it. That's why we're going to have this masterclass tomorrow, and we're going to repeat it on a monthly basis, right? So come to this class, not just to reverse your diabetes, but to get the knowledge that will turn you into Superman. Okay, that get the knowledge that's going to help you save other people's lives. I don't want you to just use this knowledge for yourself, whether you need it or not, but to share it with others. It's going to be an hour-long, in-depth training on how to overcome insulin resistance. We go through the science of insulin resistance. We go through what causes diabetes in the first place, type 2 specifically. Okay, but even if you're type 1 or have type 1.5 diabetes, you could still benefit from this science and this masterclass, because many of those with those types of diabetes suffer from insulin resistance as well, right? So if your goal is to learn, come and join us. If your goal is to come off medications, come and join us, right? And I guarantee that you won't regret it. You'll have maybe an aha moment like I did watching Superman, like, wow, I got the knowledge to save people's lives. I can, with this knowledge, not only add years to people's lives around me, but add life to those years, right? Improving their longevity. All right. I know you might have questions, right? You can leave them in the chat, but more important, scan the QR code. And here's a link again in the chat. Make sure you join. You click on the link and register by tonight, so that we can send you the private link to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, beloved, I pray above all things you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. We'll see you tonight if you're ready. Tomorrow night if you're registered. Next week on our regular time, on our Monday lives. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you're missing out on those.